All right, now we do have a tornado warning on that cell where we were showing you that land spout that was happening around 6:15 to 6:20. There is the potential for some additional development of perhaps another one or two right underneath this storm that's continuing to show some strength in Dodge County. So this tornado warning is now in effect until 7:15. You want to be taking shelter in between Hayfield and Dodge Center. If you're anywhere in that area from the northeast of Blooming Prairie to Dodge Center, you're also going to want to be weather aware and ready to take shelter as this storm has been making its way to the northeast, but there's also been some continued development right along a stationary front that has been the focus for the development of this particular cell. We're getting the rain on the northwest side of Rochester stretching all the way down into parts of southwestern Dodge County. So a heads up there that we do have a tornado warning that is in effect here for the next 45 minutes. That's until 7:15 for us. So we've seen the development of this thunderstorm activity just over the last 30 to 45 minutes, and this is going to continue to expand over the rest of this evening. Bigger picture doesn't show a whole lot. I'm not intentionally leaving you out, North Iowa. We just have not seen this activity really much farther south of the Minnesota-Iowa line. This stationary front where the winds are coming together, converging, that's the focus for the development that we are seeing right now and will continue to be for the rest of this evening. So again, a tornado warning in effect for Dodge County. That's until 7:15 up into the northwest corner of Olmsted County. Strong storms possible tonight. We have that risk, and there could be a watch issued here shortly. And there is an enhanced risk of severe weather for us tomorrow as well. So a couple of days of severe weather that we're watching very closely. And we've also been keeping an eye on the Broadway Plaza Tower cam, looking at this warned cell. So we could have some additional development. This is actually not too far from Blooming Prairie on the southwestern side of that cell. And the development could be happening at any moment. It could be covered by the rain that we're seeing right now falling to the ground. What you're looking at here, you see the edges of it, that is not one big tornado. That's the rain and the hail that's coming down from the storm cell. And it is on the back side of that now that we have the higher risk that we could see the development of a tornado just to the north of Hayfield, south of Dodge Center. So a heads up on that, a tornado warning. And now we do have the ticker that's up on your screen talking about this particular tornado warning. You'll also get any alerts if any others come out, whether there's a severe thunderstorm watch or a tornado watch or whatever happens to be issued here at any point over this evening. But right now in Dodge Center, you want to be taking shelter. All right, guys, in the control room, just to let you know, I'm going to go over to the desk and we'll navigate the radar for everyone just a little bit. So I'll be manning the desk over there. We'll talk a little bit more about what's going on. We'll get off of this screen and bounce around on the radar picture just a little bit. So that's the storm that we are looking at right now that does have the tornado warning on it. And as far as any additional development, we are going to look for some more storms developing over the course of this evening. So I'm going to pull the radar picture back up just shortly. We're going to take a look at that tornado warning and get a little bit more detail. So this is for southern Dodge County. This has been confirmed. We had it on the air at about 6:15 or a little before then, and this tornado will be near Dodge Center at around 6:55. So there it is. Once again, we'll zoom in a little bit tighter on that cell. That is just for Dodge County at this time. That does include Dodge Center, Hayfield, Casson, and Manorville. The more concerning portion of this storm right now, we'll take a look and point that out for you, is on the southwestern side here. So you see the arrow right there just off to the northwest of Hayfield. That's going to continue to move to the north and east. At Dodge Center right now, you are on the northern side of that storm. You do want to be taking shelter. You want to get into your basement or your safe space just to make sure. But right now it looks like any potential tornado is over some more wide open space there just off to the northwest of the Hayfield area. So a heads up to everyone now that we have that tornado warning that is in effect until 7:15, and that cell is moving to the north and east. So it's got a pretty strong trajectory there, and right now, northwest of Hayfield, there is the potential that we could have some hail in the mix as well. We're looking at the possibility of hail up to the size of nickels, maybe up to about golf ball size hail. And we have seen more pictures not too far from Blooming Prairie confirming that tornado that was on the ground. So we've seen some activity from this particular storm already, and we will continue to watch for more. Now, another look at the tower cam picture. I'll pull this up here and show you what we're seeing from a Rochester perspective. And I'm also going to pull up some of our other tower cams to take a look around the area to get a better glimpse. So we're looking at the cell west of the Rochester area right now. It does look like it's going to be tracking to the north and west side of Rochester. We are getting some rain there, but in Byron, you're getting the heavy rain. Anywhere within this, the Casson-Byron area stretching down to the northwest side of Hayfield, we could see the development of a short-lived tornado like we have already. We call those land spouts. They have a little bit of clarity to them, but dangerous nonetheless, as we are looking at that across the area. So we have the potential for land spouts pretty much through the rest of the daylight hours. That potential is going to weaken quite a bit once we get to about sunset and just beyond, because what we're getting now is the rapid development of these thunderstorms. Because the atmosphere is less stable. As we've got more heat in the air is less stable, and we've seen the rapid development of these thunderstorms. I am pulling up the radar picture in motion here to show you across the area what's going on. We do have that tornado warning in Dodge County. That's until 7:15, and I'm going to zoom in just a little bit tighter here on what's going on here in Dodge County. Also checking the email here, we might have got some photos coming in. Yeah, it's near Hayfield earlier where we have had these touchdowns. There was a tornado northeast of Lansing at 6:22. So it has been and turned into a very active evening here for us with some of this development. So we're seeing this all move off to the northeast. Tornado warning is in effect for Dodge County. That is until 7:15. So heads up on that. I'm going to take a little bit of a break here in just a little while. Actually, you know what? Why don't we just keep going with severe weather coverage? Robin, if we could get just some connection to the news, into the newsroom to see if we can get any photos. We're getting photos sent to us through email, so if we can get anything online, get anything on air that we can, just to help us share with everyone what we're seeing out there, that would be fantastic. But now we are getting a bunch of emails that are coming in from around the Blooming Prairie area and Hayfield and Lansing that we're talking about this tornado that we did see from our tower cam back around 6:10 to 6:15. So we have this tornado warning that's in effect right now. We'll take a closer look at where that is. It is for Dodge County. That's until 7:15 this evening. And right now, we might not have anything on the ground at all, but we might. It's very difficult to verify exactly what's going on underneath this. But in this area, if you live just north of Hayfield, just northwest of Hayfield, between Hayfield and Casson, on the south side of Dodge Center, or living between Dodge Center and Hayfield, you need to be taking shelter at this moment. As we let this storm pass us by and continue to move to the northeast, that is where we have the greater potential of a tornado. Now, looking a little bit closer to what's happening here in Olmsted County, from Rochester over to Byron. Byron, you are underneath the core of this right now. It's even just a little bit heavier to the north of Byron, so not too far from the Nature Center, right along the Zumbro, north of Byron, to the east of the Manorville area near Casson. That's pretty intense. Also south of Posttown, and that's going to be nearing Douglas, just northwest of Rochester here fairly soon as well. That is in between Orinoco and Rochester. We do not have a warning for that portion of the cell at this time, but that is also where there is the potential that we could see any future development. So I'm going to jump over to the tower cam look really quick here, and let's see what's going on right there from our perspective. This is from downtown, looking along Highway 14, Civic Center stretching out to the west, and you can see the rain right there. Now I'll zoom it back a little bit farther to the south where the core of the storm is, right now in Dodge County. The heavier rain and some hail in the mix right there, and the possibility that we could get some spin-ups. Some land spouts are possible. We've already had that activity, and we could see a little bit more. So a heads up there that we have the possibility for some tornado development. I'm going to zoom in tighter on the backside of the cell. This is where the updraft of the storm would be located. This is the tail end of the storm that's going to be nearer to the north side of Hayfield, in between Hayfield and Dodge Center right now, and where you have that clear base. Now, just a heads up, guys, I'm going to run over to the green screen here and just show you what we're talking about. So we have I'll step out of the screen, so now you can set the green screen back up. Sorry for throwing the curveball at you back in the booth, but we're going to make this work here, and I'm going to show you what we're talking about with the updraft of that storm, where it is a rain-free base right now, and that is where we also might see something else spin up right there. So there's the rain foot right there with the cell that's developed and the rain-free base currently. Now, I'm not able to pick out the possibility if there's a wall cloud underneath this right now. It does not appear that there is, but there has been enough shear in the atmosphere that when something develops and you get that twist happening, that we could see the development of anything happening right about there. Now, the heavier rain. So you get downdraft winds as well with a cell like this. You get everything that's being drawn up right here. Some twist in the atmosphere, and then on the back side of that, the winds are crashing down. And as the winds are crashing down, they create that rain foot that we're seeing right now on the Broadway Plaza Tower Cam shot. Okay, now I'm going to step back over here again. We'll take a look at the radar picture, get the very latest on that. That tornado warning is in effect until 7:15, just a reminder on that. And here is a look at the very latest on the radar to show you what's occurring with this. All right. So it's going to take a moment to load here, then we'll have the radar shot of this cell that has the tornado warning on it in Dodge County. That's until 7:15, so still about the next 30 minutes. And the activity, the thunderstorm activity that's still in Olmsted County, meaning heavy rain and maybe some small hail. By the way, if you are seeing hail at your location, please feel free to send a photo after the storm has passed, or if you're able to see it from where you are right now, or you already have a photo, please share that with us. Our email address is weather@kaaltv.com. All right, an update on this tornado warning. Here's a look at the cell. This is for Dodge Center, including Hayfield as well, Casson, and Mantorville. And we have that tornado warning in effect until 7:15. We do have confirmed tornadoes that have already touched down, these landspout tornadoes that started at about 6:10 this evening. And we had live footage from a Broadway Plaza Tower Cam not too long ago when that landspout was on the ground. So there is the continued threat that we could see some more of these redeveloping along this line of thunderstorms that is currently affecting Olmsted County and Dodge County. Now, the storm's a little bit weaker, but nonetheless, it would pose the same possibility. Now, just want to make it clear, there is not a tornado warning right now in effect for Freeborn County, but we have the possibility that any of these cells could be developing some landspouts over the course of this evening. This cell has been stronger, and this is what we've been looking at here, this tornado warning until 7:15 for Dodge County. North of Hayfield is where there is the greatest threat right there between Hayfield, and I'm going to get this, just a heads up, you guys, I'm going to step back over to the green screen, all right? Just wanted to give you a heads up there so that I can show everyone what's going on with this particular cell. It is typically, now not all the time, but it is typically on the southwestern sides of these where you have the development, where the updraft is the strongest, where you'd have the development of a tornado. So if you are in this area right now, anywhere within the polygon, you want to be taking shelter at this time. Get into your safe space. But just north of Hayfield, where the updraft is the strongest, anywhere from Hayfield, halfway between Hayfield and Dodge Center, and then northwest of Hayfield as well. Be taking shelter from this cell as there is a possibility of some more tornadic development within this storm. The storm itself is making its way off to the northeast. It's kind of a slow mover because the development has been entirely along a stationary front. This is where the surface winds are converging right along the front, moving up, and you get a little bit of a twist in the atmosphere. That's all it takes, is that change of wind direction, and that has spawned a couple of these landspouts that we've already seen. If guys, by the way, just holler in my ear if we at any point have some photos that we're able to share. We have been getting a handful of them into the newsroom, into the weather office, so if we could get some photos on fairly soon here to show everybody exactly what we're seeing and why we're cutting into programming to talk about this tornado warning that's in Dodge County. We have seen and confirmed that there have been landspout tornadoes, and once we're able to show the picture, it'll explain a little bit more as to why that is more of its own name designation to it than just a plain old tornado. They have a very unique look to them too, and we've seen that. They do tend to be on the weaker side of tornadoes, but still that is very dangerous. That has the potential of winds of 90 to 100 miles per hour. That's strong enough to do structural damage to a home. That's strong enough to be knocking over some trees. So again, that is not something that you want to be out in and doing a little bit of exploring right now. That tornado warning is in effect until 7:15 as this cell is making its way off to the north and the east, and we are looking at this rain now in the Rochester area. At this time, no warnings for Olmsted County, which is sensible, from Rochester over to the Dodge and Olmsted County line, where we have seen the highest potential of tornadoes right now in Dodge County. Now in the Rochester area, we're getting beneficial rain, getting some rumbles of thunder and a little bit of lightning in the mix also. All right, we're going to go back and take a look and see what's going on right now on the Broadway Plaza Tower picture as we are looking off to the west from our perspective here, and we'll take a little bit of a tour of the radar right now to see what's going on. And I'm also going to take a look and see what we're able to get on some of our other tower cams as well. So I'm going to zoom out here. Now, getting back to the Broadway Plaza Tower cam, we just had a lightning strike there that you could see just seconds ago. Now I'm going to zoom a little bit to the right and show you what we're seeing from downtown Rochester. You can see the rain that's falling on the northwest side of town, and you can also see as the sun is shining through there that that storm is not a very potent thunderstorm. It is enough to bring some heavy rain, but it's also one that has some twist. So what I mean by that is the winds are changing direction with height. That's wind shear. And when you have that wind shear, you have the potential for some landspout activity, especially as these storms are newly formed and they have a little bit of extra gusto as they're getting started. So that's the rain-free base of that storm, and that's where we would have the higher potential of getting the development of a tornado. Now, while we are talking about this, because it would appear at this very moment, all right, we're going to take a look at some more tower cams here. Also getting a bunch of information into the weather office, so trying to take it all in as much as I can. We're going to switch over to the Broadway Plaza Tower cam and see what we can see from there. At this time, I'm going to zoom that, and we got a good view there. We're going to go back to the west, see the west from, this is the west side of Rochester, and we're looking out there toward where the storm is, and we're also underneath a little bit of rain from this perspective too. So that's the bottom of the cell. And we're going to look at this perspective right now to what we were looking at from the Broadway Plaza Tower cam. And at this moment, we are not seeing any tornado on the ground, but we could have the development of some of these tornadoes really at any moment right now. So you want to be taking shelter in Dodge County. Again, the area of highest risk is north of Hayfield and south of Dodge Center, and that storm is moving toward the Cass and Manorville areas. And we do have a tornado warning on this storm until 7:15. All right, now again, in the production booth, if anybody has any photos that we can share on air really quick and show just something a little bit different than what we've been having here from our radar and tower cam. All right, so I just got a note that we are working on that, and I'm going to jump back and we're doing a little tour of the radar and let you know what's to come here for the rest of this evening, and also getting into tomorrow morning. Or tomorrow evening, I'm sorry. There's just a lot going on right now. All right, the radar picture, we have this cell that's over Dodge County, and that's moving to the northeast. As I zoom in here, you'll be able to see that core of the cell with the possibility of a tornado developing there at any moment in the Hayfield area, just to the north of Hayfield, nearing Casson. But we're also in that area between Hayfield and Casson, so that's where we would have the potential, maybe around Vernon, north of Rockdale, north of Vernon, and nearing Casson within about the next 15 to 20 minutes. We have a couple little signatures on the radar picture too. Now, getting into the Dodge Center area, you do want to make sure that you are taking shelter. Seeing just a couple pendants here that make me mildly concerned for what we're seeing there. And looking at the velocity pictures, currently it does appear that we might have some downdraft winds in the Dodge Center area that can be enough to make for some concern with some really strong gusts and the development of any landspouts that might be coming up within this particular cell as well. So this, again, the core of it is in between Hayfield and Dodge Center. Due to the potential of landspouts, we have a tornado warning that is in effect until 7:15 this evening. Putting it all into motion, you can see that this is all moving from southwest to northeast, and we have had that stronger cell in the Dodge County area, and it's a little slow to move out as it's been developing, right along the stationary front. Strongest cell right now over Dodge County, and a tornado warning in effect until 7:15. Bigger picture, the area of low pressure that we're looking at to continue to bring us strong storms this evening and then again tomorrow is still down to our southwest, but there is plenty of moisture in the atmosphere that is being pulled into this front right now that is draped right across southeast Minnesota and parts of north central Iowa. And the potential is going to continue, at least until about sunset, that we could have some small spin-ups within this cell. The risk of severe weather is out there for us tonight. Strong storms possible. We have not seen that a watch has been issued at this time yet, but that could change at any moment. And then tomorrow, we also have an alert day for tomorrow with that enhanced risk of severe weather developing mainly in the afternoon through evening hours. Things should be done by about 10 p.m. tomorrow if all goes to plan, but we have even a higher potential and more spin in the atmosphere tomorrow to really make for some of these strong to severe storms. This is another perspective from our Broadway Plaza Tower Cam. You can see a little bit of light on the horizon there. Notice the chance of a tornado is not zero. We have seen some very isolated tornado activity with that landspout that has formed already. Tomorrow we have a slightly higher risk of seeing some tornado development, like probably something a little bit more substantive than what we have today, but nonetheless, we've had the development in Dodge County already. Hail and wind threat is higher, and there's going to be persistent heavy rains. With this development that we have seen tonight, we are going to continue to have areas of heavy rain tonight into tomorrow. I'm told we have some photos. Let's jump to some photos to show you what we have seen. Now, this is what we had not too long ago on our tower cam. You could see that landspout. Notice how it looks almost like a hollow straw. So we get that quick development, just a very picturesque shot right there of that thunderstorm. A little harder to see now. Those small bands, if you guys, is there any chance you can key this so that I can stand in front of the photos as well? I'll stand out of the camera so you can set that up if that's a possibility. But these are a look at what we were talking about since about 10 minutes after 6 with a landspout tornado that formed, and we were able to see that on a Broadway Plaza Tower Cam. And now we are getting verification that that indeed is what was happening there. These photos from not too far from the Hayfield area as this was starting out. Now these storms, these tornadoes do pose a threat to life and property. That is when you want to be taking shelter. They are never going to be the EF5 strength tornadoes. That is just not something that landspouts do, but it is something you want to be taking shelter from. You can see that very picturesque storm right there and that landspout tornado that had formed not too far from the Hayfield area. So that's what we're talking about with landspouts. Again, they are tornadoes. They are dangerous. They tend to be a little bit smaller on the scale of things. But we are looking at that possibility as we carry on through the next, say, about 1 more hour. Let's go back to weather graphics if we can. Pop those up really quick just to show you what's going on even into tomorrow morning. Scattered shower and thunderstorm activity to kick off the day tomorrow. And then afternoon to evening, that's when we have the risk of more thunderstorm development. And look at how widespread this is. The atmosphere is a little more primed tomorrow. Today, nothing to sneeze at, but so far it's not that widespread. We have that tornado warning in Dodge County until 7:15. Tomorrow, now this is when we have more potential energy in the atmosphere. Things are a little bit more primed, and we will have even more energy if we get some sunshine for maybe 2 or 3 hours from around 2 p.m. to 5 p.m. That's the concern, is if we get that, it'll destabilize things even more, and we will see development of thunderstorms across the viewing area tomorrow as well, getting into the late afternoon through mid-evening. Things should be wrapping up right around 9 and 10 o'clock tomorrow, for sure by midnight tomorrow night, and aside from healthy rain, we have that potential for some weather dangers out there tomorrow. Okay, let's jump back to the radar picture here really quick. Let's go to level 2 radar and show you what we're seeing on level 2 radar right now. Taking a little bit of a tour of the tower cams across the area right now. You can still see that rain-free base from our Broadway Plaza Tower Cam. Temperature's warm, some moisture in the air feeding into the development of those thunderstorms, and there is that tornado warning for Dodge Center. Let's zoom in just a little bit tighter on that, Spencer. Oh, thank you, Spencer Furman, for coming into the office to help out here.
My pleasure, Randy.
You bet. Thank you. Now, between Hayfield and Dodge Center, that's where we have the potential that there's going to be a little bit more twist in these storms, that closer to the rain-free base. Yes, go ahead.
I do just want to add, I don't know if you mentioned this on air before I got back in, Randy, but a severe thunderstorm watch has now been issued for Cerro Gordo, Hancock counties, and Worth and Winnebago counties. Now, this particular severe thunderstorm watch extending until midnight tonight.
Okay, so we have a severe thunderstorm watch that's in effect until midnight tonight. Okay, all right, so this is the tornado warning that we have in effect until 7:15 p.m. tonight, and this is north of Hayfield. So heads up, Dodge County, we've been over this now. If you want to be taking shelter from this particular storm, we've had some...